If you haven't heard me say it already, Happy New Year, Happy 2023. And let's go ahead and dive into the content itself. This is going to be focusing in on the latest dev blog update, combat balance updates. And as you can see here, this is coming from the official forums. The goal of these videos is to get you guys the information about what's being talked about by the devs themselves to keep you guys in the loop. So without wasting anybody's time, it starts off with, hello everyone. We wanted to provide an update around combat balance. As you may know, we are always reading feedback, tuning, testing, and iterating on weapons, their perks, and combat. There are a few trends that have emerged, and we would have been internally testing balance changes around, namely for the fire staff, the bow musket, the hatchet, and the greatsword. The initial weapon and perk updates will be coming to the PTR in the very near future with the aim to improve the viability of magic weapons in PvE and some PvP scenarios, and the ranged weapons in PvE scenarios. On the other side of the coin, we are testing changes to reduce the power of some melee weapons and ranged weapons in PvP. In addition to weapons, we are also reviewing equipment loads to ensure the good balance between survivability and utility. We look forward to hearing your feedback as to some of these changes when they become available in the PTR. And as a part of our commitment to always be iterating on the combat balance in New World, there may be some more changes through the course of the PTR. Now, I personally am excited to see this information. First and foremost, it confirms a few things to us right away. We know that we're going to get another PTR rolling out for us to go around and play with these balance changes, and namely the fire staff, bow, musket, hatchet, and greatsword are typically what people tend to at least talk to me about. Now, I've been really enjoying the greatsword. I just hit it to level 20, and I've been working on getting all my weapons to level 20 to give you guys a real great breakdown here in a future video. So if you guys like New World content and you haven't yet subscribed, I think the last number I looked at for 2022 was like 89% of you have yet to hit that subscribe button. This is New World content. This is what you're going to get with dev updates and more, as well as my thoughts especially. But I'm excited because this means that we're going to see the PTR update coming out pretty soon. Typically, I would say probably in a week or two. This also means we're going to take another look at the leaderboards themselves. And you could kind of think of this February update, which is kind of what this is all building up to. I don't know if this is all going to be included but we're going to see kind of balancing, bug fixes, and one of those kind of updates, leaderboards getting added as they shift into probably most likely an April update for the big content update with loadouts and things like that. So this is actually a really telling dev blog because I think there's some really good things in here. I think a lot of people have talked about and been frustrated with the musket domination that's going on. The other thing that I read out of this, and you can tell me if I'm reading too much into it, but the thing I read out of this is that it sounds like they're also going to be looking at weapons in terms of here's the PvE balance and here's the PvP balance. I think when you try to make a game that respects both the PvP player and the PvE player, it ends up being quite a challenge, especially if the systems are operating the exact same way. Now, I say that, and I know that sometimes it's easier to communicate like, hey, this is how it works in both scenarios. But if they're able to sit here and tune a weapon perk differently for PvP and for PvE, I think that it can end up striking ultimately a better balance for the type of player that you want. Like, I guess the best example I've seen frustration for me personally is in the world of Destiny, where like somebody who's like, oh yeah, shotguns, and they change shotguns to do different in PvP, and then they become completely useless in PvE. Now this is ebbs and flows, right? Everything comes and goes and changes, and it's the nature of MMOs to change. So I'm not necessarily ever too frustrated. That's why my recommendation to you guys is always have a spare, always have a backup weapon, so that if you feel like the changes that got applied to you ruin your fun, you're not necessarily starting over from level 1, having to level up another weapon and feeling frustrated along the way. Now, for me personally, being that the goal, and I'm getting very close to having all weapons at level 20, all gear scored 600 and plus, That gives me lots of flexibility, and I like that about this game. I like that investment. I like that flexibility. And so that's the thoughts that I wanted to share with you guys today, especially as it relates to this dev blog. Keep it locked here for more New World news, guides, updates, and so much more. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you feel like it earns it, hitting that like button is a great way of saying thank you. Leaving a comment is going above and beyond. And checking out the Discord server, links in the description if you want to get involved in the community itself. Anyway, guys, I'm going to stop rambling here, and I'm going to wish you guys all the very best. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video. But until then, take care.